Good morning. It's Monday, June 1st. This is typically the time of the week where I open up the week with a yoga practice. The times that we're in right now are just hard to describe, but wanting to offer and share some tools and a practice that hopefully can ground and support us during these times. And one of the things that's really present for me is that when we're engaging in a practice of yoga, we're seeking to connect into the fullness of our humanity and remove obstacles that allow us, that prevent us from seeing that. And so that holds true for all beings. And for me personally, stepping into the fullness of my humanity means unpacking anything that's around that denies others the access to their humanity. Anything that denies people the ability to freely and safely navigate in their communities. With being able to do things in your activities of daily life without fear of being harmed. So that's obviously not the reality for many people. And that's something that needs to change. And I wanted to share some resources that have been really helpful to me to understanding the connection between spiritual practice, such as yoga, and ways of taking that outside the individual and practicing collective liberation. So a resource that's been really powerful, Reverend Angel Kyoto Williams, Radical Dharma. And this is talking race, love, and liberation. So this is about working for the collective liberation for all beings and linking spiritual practice as an anti-racist way of unpacking culture, the toxic values of the culture around us. Another book that comes from a Black queer Buddhist woman is The Way of Tenderness. And this is just such a beautiful way of seeing ourselves as part of nature, not separate from nature, but a part of nature, and sort of celebrating the multiplicity of oneness is what she calls humanity. And so this is just a really, thought-provoking way to think about ourselves in relationship to each other. Another resource is an excellent, this is not necessarily connected with any yogic traditions, but this is a really awesome book called How to Be an Anti-Racist. And I highly, highly, highly recommend this book as a resource. Connecting back to mindfulness, again, a lot of what Western culture focuses on the hyper focus on the individual, whereas understanding how we are in relationship to one another is really important. This is a resource from Rhonda McGee, and she was actually supposed to be in State College at the end of March, and I was planning to go see her, and obviously that changed. But this is called The Inner Work of Racial Justice, Healing Ourselves and Transforming Our Communities Through Mindfulness. And this is something, again, a lot of this is process work. A lot of this is reading, reflecting, and understanding how we are where we are, how we got there, and how we can we move from this place. So this is an excellent book. And then finally, I've read this book about 4 times, and I will continue to keep reading it. This is called Emergent Strategy by Adrienne Maree Brown. I highly recommend this book. And emergent strategy is again, there's 9 principles of emergent strategy that guide how we move in space and time with one another. And I'm not going to be able to adequately explain this book. There's a lot, but the back jacket, I'll just read it because it'll be obviously much better than anything I'm able to articulate. It's a radical self-help, society help, and planet help designed to shape the futures we want to live. Change is constant. The world is in a continual state of flux. It is a stream of ever-mutating emergent patterns. Rather than steel ourselves against such change, this book invites us to feel, map, assess, and learn from the swirling patterns around us in order to better understand and influence them as they happen. This is a resolutely materialist spirituality based equally on science and science fiction, a visionary incantation to transform that which ultimately transforms us. Emergent Strategy. I will list the titles of this book in the comment section after the video, after they're done, and maybe I'll even share a photograph of them so you can remember them and perhaps find a way to bring these into your library. All right, so I'm going to come to sitting back here on my mat, and I'll invite us into a practice of a grounding, a practice of seeing the link between ourselves and also the idea that we're all connected and that we all, how do we live in a way that allows others to freely and safely navigate in their lives? I don't have the answers to that, but I think leaning into those questions are really important right now. Okay, so I'm going to come back here and begin with a practice of breathing, and it's such a radical act to recognize the connection with breath right now in life. So invite yourself to find a way to sit that feels supportive to you, whether you're sitting in a chair or on the floor. I have a bolster here that's supporting me and allowing me to sit comfortably. And just noticing where you are in space and time. Feeling the support, the solidity of your chair, a floor. Oh, there's a little spider crawling around. And so I'm going to watch the spider and make sure it doesn't come near me, but I'm not going to kill it. And then invite yourself, if you want to close your eyes, you can. Otherwise, you can let your gaze softly focus. And this is really, I know for myself, I can't imagine that there's anyone that's not feeling the intensity of these times. So something that feels supportive to me and can help me land in my body is using my hands to just give myself some compressions on my arms, on my legs, just this idea of getting into my body and feeling that I have a body, that I'm not just this checked out ball of anxiety. So if that's something that feels supportive to you, you can engage in that practice, or you can let your hands just rest wherever it feels comfortable. Another thing I like to do too is bring a hand to my heart and a hand to my belly. Sometimes I rub my belly a little bit. And this just, to me, this is comforting. So that may or may not show up for you, but doing what feels right for you. And then we're going to connect with our breath. So before you would shift or alter your breath in any way, just notice the rise and fall of your own breath. The breath is our indicator of being alive. It's the first thing we do when we come into this world, and it's the last thing we do when we leave this world. And we can, with intention, come into the breath and change and alter the breath. And just the ability to do that gives us a lot of agency over what's happening around us. We might not be able to control anything around us, but we can come into our breath and shift and alter our breath, which has the potential to change our physiological state, which can impact our thoughts and our feelings. So there's lots of ways to do that. we're basically working with changing the ratio of oxygen and carbon dioxide. But what we're going to do here is we're going to slow the breath down. We're going to slow the breath down on the inhale and the exhale. And we'll take our time to do that. So on your next available inhale, just bringing a little bit more air in. And as you exhale, slowly release. And the next breath arises, bringing a little bit more air in as you breathe in. Exhale as you release. So take your time to find a breath cycle for you that will allow you to invite that inhale to be nice and expansive, and will allow you on that exhale to fully release and let go. And as you're breathing in and out, just invite yourself to notice what's present in your body. Notice the different sensations that have landed in your body these last couple days. Notice where you felt things, where they landed in your body, the thoughts, the emotions. And without attaching a story to anything, just invite yourself to just notice where these sensations have landed. Notice the emotions, the thoughts. And then come back to your breath and focus on the sensation of the inhalation as you inhale. And the sensation as you exhale. And we'll do that for 2 more breaths. And one of the things that we can recognize is that our whole country is dysregulated right now. Finding little spaces and places where we can come into regulation is really important. If you like, you can rub your hands together. And I'll offer a practice also before we move into our physical practice. I'll offer a practice of sound, using sound and vibration to release tension and stagnant energy, that constriction that we're likely all carrying. And the sound that I'll invite you to explore is the hum. And when we hum, we actually engage the vagus nerve, which is the longest running nerve in the central nervous system, and it moves and navigates through both our parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. So you'll hear my voice. The invitation will be for you to do what feels right for you. So you can match my voice, or you can find a pitch that feels right. And just the invitation is to just feel how sound resonates in your body. Deep breath in. So we're going to do a little movement with breath, and we're going to focus on keeping ourselves grounded and connected while we open our hearts. So on your next available inhale, inhaling, bringing the arms up, and palms together, coming into your heart center. Again, we'll pause here just for a bit, connecting again to the rise and fall of your breath, the beat of your own heart, the heat between your hands. And we'll move with the breath, inhaling and exhaling. What does it mean to live so others can live freely and safely? These are questions that we ponder as we anchor ourselves in our bodies in the present moment. And again, bringing our hands to our heart center, feeling the beat of our own heart, the breath in our body. Breathing in and out slowly. Taking the time to ground and connect so we can open our heart in the face of all that is happening right now. Taking the time to ground and breathe so that we can speak clearly and from our heart for justice. Grounding and breathing slowly so we can find ways to live that others may also live and be free and safe to navigate in their own bodies, in their communities, and live in peace. One more deep breath in and out. And releasing your hands. And I'm going to come to standing, and you're welcome to do that as well. I don't know if everyone has a yoga mat or anything like that, or props, but I will guide to the best of my ability in a way that hopefully will be safe in your body. So we're going to move through what I call a slow mindful flow. And again, with this idea of grounding, keeping our awareness in our bodies and connecting and opening our heart. So we can have a sense of where we need to be during this time, how we need to be showing up, and where we can get clear about that. It's going to be different for every person. I'm not here to tell anyone what to do. I'm just hopefully offering tools that can support. So grounding through the soles of your feet, really coming into your feet. If you're able to, lifting the toes, separating them. See if you can see the space between the toes, and then go ahead and land them back down. Feeling into all different parts of your feet, really connecting, getting your feet rooted into the ground. Feeling the heels, the ball joints, the toes, and allowing that to ensure that you don't lock your knees, that you can feel your calves, your quads. I like to feel like I'm lifting the torso out of the pelvic bowl to connect to my core. This is my center of gravity. This is also energetically our center of power, choice, will. So making sure we can feel connected here. And then the heart opens. Bringing our hands once again to this universal symbol of reverence and awe for life. Breathing in and out. And on your next available inhale, we'll inhale, bringing the arms all the way up. Exhale, hinging at the hips, bending the knees, letting your hands come down. Maybe if your hands don't come to the ground, you can leave them at the hips, or I'm using blocks. If you are someone who tends to get dizzy, or you have issues with your eyes, keep your gaze lifted. If not, you can drop your head. It's actually really good for the central nervous system to bring your heart over your head. And then strong legs, root to rise, coming all the way up. And we're going to exhale, coming into a standing squat, bending at the ankles. This expression to me really roots me into the earth. I feel a strong connection in my lower body, so you might notice that or you might notice something else. This also builds heat. If you want, you can come up on the tiptoes. And then we'll inhale, come all the way up again. Exhale, hinging at the hips, coming all the way down. And you're welcome to remain here, or you can step your feet back into this shape we call downward facing dog. Head can come back between the arms. You can pedal the feet. Nice long spine. And then I'm going to walk my hands back to my feet. Normally, I walk my feet forward, but I've been doing this the last week. I feel called to do this slow walking on my mat. So strong legs, root to rise, coming all the way up to tall mountain. And this practice of slow walking, meditative walking, just feeling your feet engage. What is our walk in the world right now? How are we showing up? Finding a way to connect through the soles of your feet to the earth. Feeling that engagement that we build from the bottom up, all the way up. And then we'll inhale again, coming all the way up. Exhale once again, coming into our standing squat. Like you're sitting in a chair. I like to think of the bend happening at the ankles, and that actually feels better. It actually allows me to feel not as much pressure on my knees here. I feel like I'm bending at the ankles. Breathing in and out. And your next inhale will come all the way up again. And exhale, come all the way back down. Breathing in and out. If you like, you can make what's called like a box with your arms, letting your hands come to the opposite elbows. Making sure you keep the knees a little bit bent, and then you can release tension in the neck and the shoulders. Maintaining awareness of your breath. And then go ahead and release the hands, and once again, stepping back, if that's available to you, or you can stay in your forward fold. And walking the hands back. Strong legs, root to rise, coming up to tall mountain. And again, that slow, meditative walk to the front. What is my walk in the world right now? What does it mean to be here right now? Inhaling, bringing the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to prayer. There's a line from a poem I've been using lately in my classes from Mary Oliver. It's a serious thing to be alive in this broken world. Breathing in, breathing out. Feeling the ground beneath your feet, the beat of your own heart, the breath in your body. Taking a deep breath in and exhaling. And then inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, nice long spine, coming all the way back. And once again, we'll do this one more time. We'll step back. Breathing in and out. Walking the hands back towards the feet. Strong legs, root to rise, coming all the way up. Bringing the arms all the way up, tall mountain. And once again, we'll exhale, bringing the hands to the heart. Taking another deep breath in, exhale, releasing. So I'm going to turn toward this direction and come into a wide-legged stance. We're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold, which is a form that to me has a really grounding effect on my central nervous system. It is something that's calming. This may or may not be the case for you. Again, part of this practice is recognizing that my experience is not everyone else's. So I don't know what your experience is in your body. So I will offer choices and options for you in that expression. We're coming into a wide-legged stance here. And then connecting to the core. Inhale, bringing the arms all the way up. Exhale, nice long spine. If your back is not allowing you to come all the way down, even maybe just stay here. Nice long spine, hands in the hips. You can bring your hands to a block or any other supports, a book. And I'm walking my legs out a little wider. So you have some choices and options. You can have your hands in front like we did in our little flow, and that'll give a nice stretch to the shoulders and the upper back. You could bring your hands to the inside and keep your gaze lifted or drop your head. And the invitation is to just slow the breath down, breathing in, breathing out. Feeling the muscles and the hamstrings, you'll notice the sensation here. Walking the hands forward, we'll come into a movement. Inhale, bringing one arm up on the inhale. Exhale, coming back to center. Opposite side, inhale. Exhale. One more time on each side. Taking one more full deep breath cycle here, whatever expression of this wide-legged forward fold you want. And then take your time to bring the hands forward, walking the feet in, not the whole way. Bring the heels toward one another, the toes pointing opposite directions. So you have your knees are bent. Let your hands come to your thighs. And we'll come up into a squat. Again, rooting into the earth. Breathing in, breathing out. And we're going to come down onto the mat. And I'm going to invite you to come into a side seated position. If that's not available, I'm going to mirror this. Right leg, left leg. You can always extend the left leg out if that's not available to you. And we'll inhale that right arm up. And exhale, when you bring that right arm down, bring the left arm over to meet it and lengthen up here. Nice deep abdominal twist. I tend to carry anxiety in my stomach area, so this is always a good, I can come into my body and create another sensation that can sometimes help shift and lessen. So recognizing everyone's different and people carry things differently in their bodies. I'm sharing that this works for me. This may or may not work for you, but just offering that up. That wherever you carry different sensations in the body that are challenging, we can come into our bodies and sort of meet ourselves where we are and create another experience. Breathing in, breathing out. And then go ahead and slowly come to center, and you can extend that left leg here. And with the left arm to the inside, giving a little resistance, rotating the torso. And that right arm can come up, it can come over, it can be in movement or stillness. You decide. Taking a deep breath in, and as you exhale, slowly rotate your torso toward the outstretched leg. Keep the spine nice and long. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, slowly surrender. Taking your time. This Janu Shirshasana is the name of this expression. And it's about the journey, about life is not a destination, it's a journey. What are we learning about ourselves right now? How are we showing up? If we're looking at the practice of yoga, the idea of coming into our full humanity, how are we living that others may also do so? Breathing in and out. Taking a deep breath in and slowly, slowly, slowly coming back up to center. And take your time to switch sides. So the left leg is in front, the right leg is behind. Again, you can always extend that right leg out if that feels better and more comfortable in your body. And then inhaling that left arm up, breathing in and out. And exhale, bringing that left hand down, bringing the right hand over, lengthening the spine in this deep abdominal twist. Taking another deep breath in, slowly, slowly releasing back to center. Go ahead and extend that right leg out. Left arm, right arm comes to the inside. Rotate the torso. Other arm can come up or over. Taking a deep breath in. Exhale, slowly releasing. Again, orienting yourself to that outstretched leg, keeping the spine nice and long. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, coming forward. And we don't know, this is just such a time, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Of course, we don't know if we're in the middle of it or the end of it or anything like that. We don't really have a clear understanding of that. And we have the implosion of race relationship in our country happening right now. So this idea of how are we showing up has so much, there's so much around that. So being clear is really important, and taking the time to ground and connect into our bodies and grow into our understanding of how to be present and how to show up in a world that is so challenging right now. Taking a deep breath in and exhale, slowly, 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 slowly coming back. And then finding your way into a seated position. Get my bolster back. That feels comfortable. Or if you would like to lie down on the ground, on the floor, whatever feels right for you. Coming back to your breath, to that sense of being in your body. And I'm going to invite us into a practice of loving kindness And you are welcome to, if you choose, silently or aloud, repeat the phrases of this blessing after me. So connecting again, once again, to your own self. How are you called to be in these times? And being able to start with that fierce kindness for yourself is really important. And especially if you are someone whose identity is not valued for whatever reason by culture. Being able to show yourself fierce kindness and compassion. Having that awareness that each of us has an inherent worth and value because we exist, not because of our zip code, what we do as a profession, or the color of our skin. We all have an inherent worth and value because we exist. And we exist, as Zenzu Earthland Manuel says, we exist as part of nature. We are like the earth. We have within our very bones minerals that are found in the earth. Like the earth, we are largely made up of water. Like the molten fire burns at the center of the earth, we have our metabolic system that is symbolic of transformation. We transform food into energy and waste. And just like the atmospheric gases that encompass the earth, we have our pulmonary system, the spaciousness of our heart center and our pulmonary system. So we are all reflections of creation. And the challenges for us is to unpack those things in our toxic culture that denies the full humanity of people because of the color of their skin and many other identities. So that is our task. If we are to really truly connect to the fullness of our own humanity, we have to remove that which denies others their full humanity. We have to remove that which denies people free and safe navigation in their lives and living in peace. That is the task of our yoga, off the mat. So starting with ourselves, seeing yourself perhaps as if you were looking in a mirror, and saying to yourself, may I be well in my mind and in my body. May I live free and safe from harm. May I have peace. Noticing what it feels like to offer yourself this blessing. Where does this land in your body? And then allowing perhaps that image of yourself in the mirror to fade. And bringing before your mind's eye perhaps beings in your community that you know are hurting, who perhaps have felt their worth dehumanized by culture. Perhaps these are people you know, perhaps this is you. Bringing into your mind's eye those that have been denied their full humanity in your community. And you might have specific faces in front of you. You might have images. But drawing down into your own heart and offering this blessing. May you be well in your mind and in your body. May you live free and safe from harm. May you have peace. Noticing what this feels like in your heart, in your body, as you continue to breathe. And expand this circumference of belonging to include beings in other parts of the world, to include all of us in this human family that have been impacted by the coronavirus, recognizing that this is the desire of all beings to be able to have the ability to do these things. So inviting that awareness of being in this one human family, being part of this multiplicity of oneness, as Zenzu Earthlyn Manuel says. And from your heart, offering this blessing to all beings. May all be well in their mind and in their body. May all live free and safe from harm. May all have peace. Feeling the breath enter as you breathe in. Feeling the breath release as you breathe out. Any images that you have in front of you, you can just invite them to slowly dissipate. And once again, connecting to your breath as you inhale and exhale. If you like, you can rub the hands together. This, to me, is a way of moving from a more contemplative state to entering into life. And I'm going to come forward here. So if you're watching, I'm really glad that you're here. I hope that this practice is something that can be supportive to you. And again, I shared some resources, emergent strategy, how to be an anti-racist, the inner work of racial justice. And these are books that I refer to time and time again, The Way of Tenderness and Radical Dharma. So, to close, again, this blessing, may all beings be well and have access to essential resources for thriving. May all beings live free and safe from harm and have peace. And may my thoughts, my words, and my actions contribute to the wellness, to the access to wellness, to be able to freely and safely navigate and live in peace. Breathing in, breathing out. May you have clarity. May you be willing to be a voice for justice. May you speak truth without harm. Thank you.